Hello, boardwalkers, and welcome back to Country Boardwalk Studios. Today, I thought I'd share with you a sketchbook tour. I've just completed this Speedball Travelogue Artist Large Landscape Sketchbook. And it's a hand journal. It's made by the Hand Journal Company, distributed by Speedball Arts. It's a linen cover, and it's got this nice pocket here at the back. It's got 30 sheets with a total of 60 pages. The paper is really thick. It's 140 pounds, 300 GSM. And it's a large landscape size, which is 5.25 inches by 8.25 inches, and I don't have the conversion for centimeters on that. But I thought I'd share this sketchbook tour. This is probably going to be one of my last sketchbook tours for this year and for a while, because I have not started any brand new sketchbooks. I've got a couple of Strathmore sketchbooks that I'm going to want to use. And then I just recently got those 3 square format etcher sketchbooks that I'm going to be trying to use a lot of. Paul Clark and Margot Lofts gave permission to share my inspired versions of artwork. Let me introduce myself. If you're new to the channel, I'm CB Mac. And on this channel, I do tutorials of plein air painting with watercolor, gouache, ink, graphite, charcoal, colored pencils. And I also like to do reviews of art supply that I love using. This Speedball Travel Artist sketchbook was one of the very first sketchbooks that I had bought when I started out painting. And this first page in here is a double spread page, I like to leave this very first page to match with the outside cover. And I always put my name and address in my sketchbooks, so in case I forget to, take it with me, or I lose it on the way, there's a way for someone, if they find it, to mail it back to me or send it back to me, or get a hold of me to be able to get it back. This is a double page spread that I did way back, like in 2020, I think it was, when I was first starting to learn watercolor. The reference photo that I used was from my distant cousin John Bellew, who lives in Ireland, in, ironically, the town of our family name, Bellewstown, Ireland. He gave me permission to paint the picture, and I sent him the picture of what the painting looked like, and he was very pleased with it. And I think I'm seriously going to try painting this one again, since it's a picture from the area of our hometown in the old country. These next pictures are of a downy woodpecker and a turkey buzzard, and both of these, most of the paintings in this sketchbook journal are done by 2 of my favorite artists who host a Facebook page, Paul Clark and Margot Lofts. Paul Clark does a lot of the watercolor tutorials on his Facebook page, and he has a YouTube channel. And Margot Loft does the weekly challenges for the Facebook group. And both of these were done in 2023. So this book has mostly got paintings from 2023 and 2024. Both of these were done for Margot's Bird of a Feather Flock Together challenge. And what Margot does is she puts photos up that you can use, and in her instructions, she'll tell you whether to use her photos for the challenge or whether you could add your own photo and use your own photos for the challenge. Sometimes she doesn't want you to use your own photos. She wants you to try to learn how to do the challenge with her set of photos. And there's always a bunch of photos to choose from each of the challenges she does. Nope, I could have kept it the same way. These next ones are the Margot's Autumn Orange Challenge. And then this one is Margot's There's Not Much Room in This Toadstool. Now I can turn it. All right. This painting was a Halloween painting where I was doing something for a online contest, and you had to have certain items like ghosts, black cats, bats, witches, pumpkins, skeletons, monsters, witches, scary haunted houses, and cemeteries in your painting. It's a really fun painting to do. And I like to do practice pieces in my sketchbooks. I like to do a lot of competition things in my sketchbook. And I do them in my sketchbook mostly if I don't have to do them on a certain sheet of paper. If the rules say that I can get by with, not having to send in the painting, I will do it in a sketchbook. And that. And I enter online contests mostly to get art supplies like the Etcher Mini palette, ceramic palette that I got for my birthday. These brushes, both these brushes, the Princeton Aqua Elite set and a Princeton Neptune set, I also won on a online competition. And the reason why I do them is just to get used to submitting my artwork to things, or to get used to selling my artwork for the public if I ever get to that point where I want to. This is Paul's Autumn Woodland Scene. And mushrooms are one of the things that I really like doing. It's become one of my favorite subjects. This is mushrooms with horse chestnuts with a bokeh technique in the back. That was the first time that I learned how to do the bokeh technique and how to use the bokeh technique with the white dots or the light dots, and then how to use the salt technique. I also like to use in my sketchbooks to practice different techniques for the first time. Here's another mushroom one. And this photo, I think, was also, reference photo, was also good for the there's the No Mushroom on the Toadstool. And in the Remember It's Movember. Margot's favorite color is mauves and purples and pinks. And every November she does a Movember challenge. So both of these were done for that challenge. It's the purple mushrooms, the dark purple mushrooms, and then these plums. Then I have Margot's Under My Umbrella painting of the dandelion. And this is another one of Margot's Movember challenges. But it's also one of Paul Clark's tutorials. One year, she said to, I think it was the following month after Movember that she asked for the challenge for the week to turn one of Paul Clark's tutorials into a Margot Loft Movember painting. So everybody was doing really simple landscapes and doing, trying to do some, very simplistic Movember challenges, because changing an original colored tutorial landscape picture into just another color is awful challenging. Very, very challenging. I love this tutorial of Paul's with the crashing waves, but doing this painting this way is in the Movember colors, I think, was a lot harder for me than if I'd have had to done it the way he originally did it, with the blues and the grays and the greens for the hillsides. Sketchbooks are also used by me for testing things. In this one, it says November 16, 2023, testing the Hunt Speedball Super Black India ink. And what I did was I used my number 12 Neptune, Princeton Neptune brush, round brush, to practice some strokes. I used the 1/4 inch flat paint brush. I used a old dip pen that I have. And then I used the flat brush again to put it on the page, let it dry completely, and then put watercolor wash over the top of it to see if it would be waterproof or if the ink would move. The Speedball India ink did not move. It was waterproof. That same month, I had a black walnut tree that produced a whole lot of walnuts. I think I gathered up like 100 walnuts and bagged them up in groups of 25 so that I could make my own homemade black walnut ink. And I did the same test using the number 12 round and the 1/4 flat, the dip pen, and then I did the waterproof test. And my own black walnut ink, I don't know if you can tell, but it's a little bit lighter browner color, and it was waterproof. That same time that I made the homemade black walnut ink, I also tried making some homemade sawtooth oak acorn cap ink, where you take just the caps of the oaks and maybe a couple of acorns, and I made an ink, and I did the same exact test. 12-inch round, the 1/4 flat, the dip pen, and to check to see if it was waterproof. Now on this ink, it's a little more purple looking, but it was waterproof. So I like using sketchbooks to test things. This challenge, this painting challenge was Margot's In Stillness, There's Beauty. Then we've got Margot's Scrub-a-Dub-Dub challenge. This was the first time for me to paint moving water, trying to do moving water, plus doing people. I was pleasantly surprised with this one and pleased with this one. This is Paul Clark's How to Paint an Irish Seascape. Now I'll hold this up so you can see it a little bit better. This one also has the bokeh effect in the background. And this one I was learning how to do the rock technique. Then we've got Paul Clark's How to Paint Pelicans in Watercolor. And Margot's Painting in Longomera, Join In. Then there's Margot's Why Can't I Have My Cake and Eat It Too, which was a challenge for making her birthday cards. This is a online competition that I entered with the B Corporation, and the challenge was to draw the letter B using items or foods with the letter B. So all these items that I painted in here to make the letter B, it's not really a letter B because I didn't make it out. I needed to scoot this over. I think if I'd have moved this part over a little bit more and then used the full part of the page, I think it would have done better and looked more like a B. It looks like a number 8 to me instead of a B. But it was a fun challenge, and even though I didn't win, I enjoyed, trying something new and out of my comfort zone. And that's the whole purpose of doing a sketchbook, I think, is to be able to paint stuff and practice stuff and just get used to painting and not worrying about making a masterpiece. Do lots of practicing. This is my Etchers Yellow Color Series. The Etcher Color Series Challenge, where every day Etcher gave you a color to do. And I believe the first color was green, and I didn't do that in my in this sketchbook. But there are 2 or 3 of the colored series paintings in this sketchbook that I did. And that's the competition that I won, that mini ceramic Etcher travel palette, the little mini travel palette, the 19 Wells one. But this is the yellow series. This is another Margot Lofts celebrating St. Patrick's Day. Margot Lofts, has anyone seen my blue wellies? The Etcher Orange Colored Series, where I did a picture of my orange tiger lilies in my yard. Both of these paintings are for Margot's Just Hanging Out challenge with the laundry. This one, I learned a whole lot about how to do perspective. It was the first time that my perspective on buildings came out right. Oop, one too many. They're sticking together a little bit. Here's the Etcher Red Color series. I did my coffee cups with my cup of coffee and my Folgers Classic. This is one of my favorite paintings, and one of my kids like this painting, and so does my husband. It's Paul Clark's How to Paint a Red Barn in Line and Wash. And my daughter especially, she loves my line and wash paintings better. She says they look more complete than the paintings where I don't do any line and wash. She thinks this one's unfinished because it doesn't have any, the lines around it to hold the color in, the shapes in. I kind of like my line and wash sometimes more than my paintings. It just depends on my moods some days. These two are both Margot Lofts celebrating this monumental weekend. Another couple of paintings where I was learning how to work on perspective and getting shapes and everything right. And I don't know if you can see, but those are supposed to be ducks in the front. I was trying to paint ducks loosely, but not put too much detail in it. And you can see where I put the dots for the eyes. It's hard for me to do loose because I want to put all the details in, but I'm trying. I'm trying to learn how to do a little bit of the loose. This one is Paul Clark's How to Paint a Butterfly with the blended background. This one is my using the set of paints that my husband and my family gave me for Mother's Day, and that in one of my previous videos, I'll link it to you. The Art of Soil paints, the palette that I have, the wooden one with the cherry wood palette. Little travel palette, the Art for Soil paints. That's what these paints are, and I'll link that one to the. I'll link a video to that in the description. All right, I think these next four paintings are going to be from Margot's Flaming Fabulous Flamingos challenge. Some of her challenges, depending on the challenge, I will do at least one painting. But if it's a challenge that I have a lot of photos in there that she has that I want to try to do, and these two were the reflections. I was wanting to learn how to do the reflections. I will do more than one or two if I have time. Then there's these. These are both the Flaming Fabulous Flamingos also. Birds are one of my favorite subjects, and I think I've told you guys before that it's the subject that got me started with painting with watercolors back in 2019 and 2020 when we had COVID and that. So that's what got me started with painting. If you're enjoying this video, could I ask you to subscribe to the channel? Click that thumbs up like button. Share this video. Click on that bell icon for upcoming notifications for my future videos. And to the 51 or 52 of you subscribers that I have had since my first year of being on YouTube, thank you so much for supporting me and going on this art journey with me. I hope you're enjoying the content. and everything. And I do appreciate each and every one of you guys on the channel. All right, getting back to the sketchbook tour. We've got Margot Lofts, Old Bangers Are Best. And this is one of my son's favorites. He loves old rusty trucks like this. Matter of fact, he's trying to fix up an old rusty international pickup truck soon. Margot Lofts, My Bluebell Walk. Then there's the Margot Lofts Lily of the Valley Challenge. Another bird painting, and this one is from Margot Lofts, Always Be Yourself Unless You Can Be a Heron. Okay, and I think we'll turn it again. We've got Paul Clark's How to Paint a Fisherman in a River. And Margot Lofts I Spy Ice Cream. And I don't know if you can tell it or not, but my paint from this one, even though it was dry when I closed the book, managed to go on this other painting. So it's kind of a little bit, the background is kind of a little speckledy looking. That was not meant to be. I need to really go through here and on some of these paintings where I have the darker paint, the darker granulating paints, like here with the black, I really do need to take my Dorland's wax or my spray fixative that I've talked about in another video also, and spray down these pages, some of them. It's not required for you to do that in your sketchbooks and that, because usually they're very well protected. But as you can see, this one, I used granulating paints, and I probably did not let this painting dry completely as I think I did, and that got on there. So if you don't want to use the spray fixative or the Dorland's wax, you could put in a sheet of parchment paper, or a sheet of wax paper also works. So there's a couple of extra little tips there for you to put a piece of parchment paper or wax paper. Cut it to size to put in there to protect your pages if you need to sometimes. That will help. Here we have Margot's We're Such Fern Friends. And then Margot Loft did it's a shoe day challenge. And this was one of the challenges where you could use your own photograph reference. And so I was at the hospital at the time this challenge took place, visiting a family member. And I decided to do my shoes, my own shoes at the time. Now, on her challenges where she asks you to, if you use your own photograph, sometimes she will ask you to put your photograph reference in there. And I did with this one. I didn't mind sharing it. Here is a painting that I did while I went with my daughter. My youngest daughter is a EMT volunteer firefighter. That's what she does. And she was having a training session one day, and she asked me to go along with her and asked me if I wanted to paint the fire trucks. So that's what I did. I went and painted the 2 old fire trucks that they had at the station. I sat out there, did it plein air. I really wish I'd have taped that one, but because I was at a place where they had training and stuff, I didn't want to, be a bother. So I just sat over there quietly in a chair and just painted it without filming it. But those are the two old engines, very old engines that still run and work for the local county fire department. All right, here we are. Oh, and I think these are all 2024. I didn't mention that, but right after we did I think it was right after my ink thing. The year, yes, December 2023. Right after that was when the book was used for 2024. So these are 2024 paintings, this past year's challenges. We're right here on this one. This one is Margot's On the Horizon Challenge. Here's another one where I used my own reference photo. These are my 3 assistants. And this is done for Margot's Let Sleeping Dogs Lie. And I did not set the dogs up that way. I was painting and doing a painting of some kind, and I don't even remember. And I turned around on the boardwalk, and lo and behold, Tiberius, Kermit, and Boone were all sitting like that. And I decided, ooh, I better snap a photograph while I've got them all still. And so that's the reference photograph that I used for the 3 dogs for this Let Sleeping Dogs Lie challenge. This one is for Margot's Live Life Like Someone Left the Gate Open. And I really love this one because actually, I love both of these because I love trying to do the wood grain textures. That's another one of the subjects that I'm really good at doing. I feel that I'm good at doing. Y'all can tell me in the comments below if you think my wood grain textures are good or not. And that. But this was one that I enjoyed doing because I got to practice the wood grain textures and the grass textures, doing grasses. Next, both of these are for one challenge. It's Margot's Bear With Me challenge. And yes, she knows pandas are not bears really. But everybody always says panda bear when they say it. So she knows they're not bears, and I know they're not bears, but they were in the challenge. This was a fun challenge to do. Oh, here's another favorite of mine and my son's. This was one of my favorite challenges because I got to work on the perspective again. And I don't know if you can tell or not, but when I tilt it, you could probably see that little bit of silver, this little bit of silver paint, the glitter paint that I used on this one. This is Margot Lofts' Happiness is Just One Station Away. Then we have Margot's Pink Makes the Boys Wink. And Margot's I Saw Seashells on the Seashore. Whew, that was a tongue twister. Then we have Margot's Double Double. Whoop, I just ripped that. Oh, goodness. Let's see if we can put that down again. There we go. Margot's Double Double Toil and Trouble. And Margot's He's Just a Really Fun Guy. Or Fun Guy. And this is the last painting, actually. in the book that I just finished last week. So I did this page first, and then I did this one. I had this one drawn first, but decided I didn't want to really do it yet. So I did this one first. And then that's the end of our sketchbook tour. I hope you're inspired to try using your sketchbook for learning new techniques. Follow some of your favorite artists like Margot Lofts or Paul Clark. And try just doing different subjects to see whether or not you can draw these and paint these. Put them in a sketchbook. No one has to look at the sketchbook except for you. They don't have to be finished masterpieces. Just explore and give it a go. I will put affiliated links from Amazon for this sketchbook. This is where I bought this sketchbook, was Amazon. I'll also put the links for the paints and the Meeden palette here. This video is not sponsored by anybody, but I do have links that I can post for these few items. And that I do get a small commission from Amazon if you use those links. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to post them in the description below. I do read each and every one of the description questions and comments. I try to answer any of the questions you guys ask. I might even do an upcoming question and answer video. If you guys want to put some questions in there for me, I can do that coming up before the year is out. I think I'm going to be making maybe 2, maybe 3 more videos before the year is out and I take a break for the holidays. I also have links to my Facebook and Instagram account so that you can follow me there. I hope this has been inspirational for you, and I will also put a link for Margot Lofts and Paul Clark's Facebook group and Paul Clark's YouTube channel. Look forward to seeing you guys again next week. Goodbye for now.